We all have websites, whether that is a corporate website that does everything we do. Qantas, for instance, okay, they have an information system, they have a way of booking a ticket, they have a way of checking in, they have a way of having all of those auxiliary components being plugged into their system that allows that someone clicks on a link and goes to another website. Or we have a website that is really, really basic. And if you think about it, most of us have basic websites. Okay, yes, we've got a lot of functionality. Yes, we may have an e-commerce site. Maybe it's there for blogs. Maybe it's there for a lot of other things. But when it comes to our own website, we have to take some responsibility for securing it. Now, one of the biggest attacks that the bad guys can do is a thing called cross-site scripting. Now, cross-site scripting literally means I have a form on my website. I have the ability to put a script into one of those fields on that form, which means that one of two things can happen. I've now infected the page, and everybody who goes to that website is going to get infected by it, or I'm going to infect the back end, which then gives me access to a lot of other things as well. So because we have to actually start looking at how we protect a website, we have to think about how we do this. So when it comes to websites, usernames and passwords are critical. You need a third factor or two-factor authentication component. So when it comes to username, password, you also need to make sure that there are something along the lines of Google Captcha or two-factor authentication. You send it, the website's going to send my phone an SMS saying, put this code into the system. It will then allow me access. You also need to be aware that you need to put tracking software on your website. The tracking software is not only for sales, for instance, or people who have read, it is how many people have accessed the back end, and I need to know about those people who have come through. Another component of our website is we need to update it regularly. Just like our mobile phones, like our laptops, like our home computers, we get really inundated with all of this stuff that we have to update our digital components. Now, when it comes to websites, they've got exactly the same problem. Now, if you're using something like Drupal or WordPress, then not only do you have to worry about the actual WordPress install, you've got to worry about PHP, you've got to worry about MySQL, you've also got to worry about all the plugins and the widgets and the components that make your pretty website do what it's supposed to do. So when it comes to all of these processes, we need to make sure that we are protecting not only the website itself, but our visitors who come to it as well. Because if they are getting infected, they're not going to come back. And if they can start narrowing it down to where was the last time that we got attacked was your website, then you've got a major problem anyway. In addition to that, Google does a hell of a lot in the background about infected websites. Literally, if you just spent thousands of dollars of getting onto page one of your of a Google search for your criteria, and you get infected, you will literally go down to page 1000. Okay, you've now got to invest all of that once again to get back to where you were before. So again, things like this are really, really important when it comes to protection in the digital world. One of the best things you can do for a website, if you are aware of some of the problems that this creates, is to put a web application firewall or a WAF in front of your website. Now, what this does is it protects you against zero-day exploits. Now, a zero-day exploit is something that happens, someone finds a hole in a piece of code and has the capability of making it a vulnerability and also delivering a piece of malware to your website. A web application firewall is just a bit of protection against that happening. So yes, they've discovered a vulnerability. They've created a malware that allows it to connect, but they haven't patched it yet. Whereas a web application firewall may stop that from happening. My name is Roger Smith. I hope this was useful. If you like it, please share it. Thank you.